I've been directing for 50 years now, so I'd like to think that all of them had an element of social protest, social challenge, a wish to further the process of change. I used to go regularly to my local library, and the BBC came to film the reading circle. I was fascinated by these people who were very nice and very amenable and interested in what we were doing and saying. And I think that was the moment when it planted the idea of working for the BBC in my mind. I was very much influenced by the events of 1968, when students kind of almost throughout Europe rose in revolts, especially in Paris, and I think I was very influenced by that. And from then on, I was also active in my trade union. I was the shop steward for my trade union, and I think then I became much more committed to filmmaking that tried to change things.
Okay, cut there. Thank you all for a good day's work. You can all make your way out, get changed.
I tried to put my ideas into the films that I was making while I was employed by the BBC, but that created a certain amount of tension because the BBC was supposed to be objective, neutral. It seemed to me that that idea of objectivity often meant accepting the status quo, and I wanted to challenge the status quo. The hierarchy thing is the thing that bothered me. I could work in the cooperative. I could have other people who didn't regard themselves as my superior. What I don't like is when people tell you because they are in a senior position that's what I find difficult to take, and that's partly a personality thing. I worked on a series for the BBC called The Italian Way, and then eventually the BBC said they wanted one called The Irish Way. We were told that there was some sequences that would have to be re-edited, and one shot in particular that would have to be removed altogether. And at that point I decided I could not stay inside the BBC, and I had my name taken off the credit, and I resigned from the BBC and I left the BBC. If the truth should be told, even if the truth is embarrassing, I've always seen myself as a man of the left, but even if the truth is embarrassing to the left, embarrassing to the cause of liberation, as it was in South Africa, we should still have told the truth.